Hey folks, how you doing out there? Welcome to another Drinking a Week, Drinking a Week AGAVARAMA. This is number 2 in our series. Very happy that you're here. Today was a day. I don't normally like to ever say that I need a drink, but today we're close. All right, I always want that drink. Never need it, but today, boy, a lot of stuff going on today. Very happy you're joining us. We're settling in here in our wonderful look at all things tequila, mezcal, and we're going to add a little sotol later, which is not an agave, but close. We will talk about that soon, actually. I think I'm going to find my way to getting another sotol and kind of put a wrap on my kind of study of all these different types of bottlings, okay, from Mexico. Let's talk today a little bit about additives. Okay, now you have, even if the little that I've talked about these spirits, you probably have heard me mention additives, usually in a derogatory way when it's coming to a celebrity bottling. Okay, so celebrity offering, and there's good reason for that. When we talk about these products, and this is tequila especially. We're going to talk about the products that are put out with no additives whatsoever, and then the ones that are with a slight amount of additives, and then the types that are pushed to the very brink. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. Now, again, I have kind of put a spin on it because I don't really. I like the idea of not using additives. I don't really like sweet whiskey, spirits, any of these things, ready-made drinks. Again, I like to say my joke is the one place I show restraint is in the area of I don't like sweets when it comes to liquor of all sorts. Yeah, a little bit is nice. A cocktail that has a sweet edge is obviously going to be nice, but I don't really ever like to have something that's flavored with some kind of sweet stuff. Okay, I know all of those drinks do have, whether it's tequila or anything else, just kind of weird whiskeys or whatever. They have their place. I get it. A really super sweet tequila has its place. Fireball has its place. Not in this face, but yeah, that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of coming around to it. It's kind of the same kind of thing as for me, single malt Scotch whiskey. I used to be an age statement snob, and then I realized that that's not always the case. You can get rather not so tasty, teenage-year-old Scotch whiskey. You can get something that has no age statement, which means if it's single malt, that it has to be 3 years. Or if it's a Scotch, it has to be at least 3 years, but no age statements. That is excellent. So I'm coming around on this. The second thing is there are times when a tequila that has a little bump up from some additives is actually rather tasty. You don't always have to be a nerd about this stuff. There's a time when a really nice, I don't know about wines, but a really nice, dry, earthy wine is wonderful. Sometimes a nice little bottle of something kind of free, whatever the wine drink that represents the idea of a wine cooler. Sometimes that's fine. You know what I mean? That's great. You're going to a party. You're going to be making some mixed, some mixed drinks. You're going to have somebody sipping on it with some lemon. There's nothing wrong with that. The one thing that's interesting is I'm going to pour myself one here that I know is additive free and recommend that at the end. But the one thing that is a little difficult to understand is getting definitions, and the regulations are a little difficult sometimes to pull together. Let's go first through the additives that can be added to tequila. Okay, we have 4 of them. Okay, the first one will be, sometimes I hear this mispronounced, but I'm going to go with my science class and say glycerin. Okay, glycerin can be added to give it a little more of a silky mouth feel. Okay, if you know anything about science and you know what that is, you know how that feels. You know what we're talking about. That could be added into tequila at a certain amount. Second one will be some kind of oak flavoring. It's a natural flavoring, but it's going to be an oak flavoring, giving the tequila a little bit more of a taste of that it spent more time in an oak cask. Okay, give a little bit of that flavor. When that naturally occurs, we get this vanillins and things like that that give that shape to all of bourbon, Scotch, whiskey, blah blah blah. Anything is aged whiskey. Okay, that is wrong when I said aged whiskey. All whiskey has to spend some time in a wood cask of some sort. There's different rules for different things. But anyway, you get the picture. The third one is some caramel colorant. Now, Scotch whiskey actually does allow some caramel colorant. The good companies in Scotland do say that they don't add any of that colorant. The fourth one is going to be, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, a little bit of sugar syrup. Okay? So those can be added. It's supposed to be 1%. Now, there was this entity called Tequila Matchmaker that used to actually do studies on this and try to name out loud which tequilas were additive free. And then the governing body in Mexico kind of put a stop to that. There was legal things because they don't want to over-regulate their kind of one of their biggest exports, right? Okay. Mexico is not the only company that sometimes doesn't want regulations because they want to make more money. Okay, surprise. We do that all the time here, right? Let's be honest. Obviously, okay. And if you are having explosive diarrhea right now, I didn't think I was going to bring that up in this video, but maybe you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so that has gone away. So if you are trying to find out what your additives are, you can still kind of type it in, and that information that came from Tequila Matchmaker, which is now Agave Matchmaker, and they just do ratings and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a social media, or not social media platform, but a little blog, web page kind of thing. They have an app that you can kind of get reviews and yeah, a group. I guess it is a social media group, but they have an app and stuff like that. You can still kind of find that. All of this is to say that it's supposed to be 1% of all the additives. Here's the other thing. The CRT, the regulation body, tequila regulation, it's flipped around depending on if you're reading it like, wait, maybe it says it on here. No, it does not. But this group does not, CRT, yeah. Okay, the group does not go around and test every tequila for additives. Distilleries keep a record, and they have a log of what they're using in their additives, and it's kind of a good faith thing that they will send that off, blah blah blah. Okay, but the CRT in Mexico made it illegal to put additive free on your bottle. So when you grab a bottle of tequila and you see 100% Weber agave, there could be additives in there. Sometimes when you find a really interesting company like this Cascahuin here, they don't put that on there, which is kind of like a reverse way of saying, you know what, we're not even going to mention it. We're not putting anything in here. And as far as, it says 100% the agave here, but they don't really, blast it all over, and they can't now put this additive free thing, but they don't add anything to this. Okay, so that's our thing. Second thing is there are some additives sometimes added in some production that we also have to kind of account for. So again, I'm not saying anything is bad, good, or whatever. I just know that when I taste a celebrity tequila, I can taste those things. Classic example is Casamigos, the old George Clooney. I don't know if his name is still on that or not, but it has been sold. Yeah, you have that, and it just tastes like a little bit like Lifesavers, a lot like cream soda. And like I said, there are certain times I'm just like, give me some more. All right, Casamigos. Yes. Then there are times when I want to sip a nice glass of this Blanco tequila, and I want to taste all the earthiness of agave, and I don't want anything fake in there. and I want to nose it. I want to smell. I want to smell that. Okay, I'm gonna get Oaxaca in my nose here, and on this one, this Cascahuin Blanco, it happens for days. What the heck? What has Michelle got me set up here with? I don't know what that is. We'll put it over here. Okay. Oh, that's even better. All right. So, let's talk about this. Excuse me, this one. So there's not gonna be any color in here because they want this as white as possible. On the nose here, a little bit of a cucumber note, which reads as earthy to me. Wonderful. A little bit of a lime peel here. But it's just agave. That's what it smells like. Really nice. On the taste. Tons of earthiness and woodiness. Not overpowering agave taste. You get that note of the kind of the more bitter side of what tequila can bring, but not in the nature of some really cheap garbage thing with bad production. This is outstanding. Sticks around a long time. Finish might be a little thin. It's a little more green towards the end, if that makes any sense. Cascahuin Blanco is produced in a slow cooking process with brick ovens using only agave tequila Weber from the Zona Valleys. Okay, wonderful. Bottled at 40%. There's not much else to say here. Cascahuin is a pre-Hispanic word that means hill of light, a landmark in the town of El Arenal, Jalisco. Cascahuin un tequila siempre perio. Sorry, I don't know that word. I'm really out over my skis when I'm trying to do Spanish. All right, do Spanish. All right, Michelle's working on that. She'll be helpful soon with that. It's really, really tasty. This can go back really nice. Now, this company here, again, they don't do anything with additives, additive free. You can go up into the, this Blanco, across the board, $40. I think their Reposado gets into the 54 range. They also have kind of what everyone's favorite from this company. This is a real big favorite amongst tequila purists. I mean, not even purists. This is a tequila aficionados. Okay, this one is always mentioned in the top 5 of just they have something for us at the bottom here. Blanco, $40, and they have some really fancy stuff. One of the more interesting ones that I would like to try someday, maybe buy someday, is the one that's called the Tahona Process Blanco. I've heard rave reviews about that one. What that is, it's a 2-ton wheel, not ceramic wheel. I'm losing my train of thought. Big old 2-ton, big old, what's this, ball of stone. It's a stone. And when they're crushing the agave hearts, they roll this humongous stone around, and that's what crushes the hearts out. The juice comes out. It's a real natural process. Just to tell you the difference, when a big producer does their production, they don't use a wheel. They don't use horses' hooves. They don't even use kind of a crusher. They're literally just like concussing them and percussing them and break them apart and split them open with this thing called a diffuser. So, that's the difference. This is not a Tahona process, but this is still done very, very well. Right now, in terms of Blancos, this is in the tequila area, this is my favorite, hands down. my favorite. However, again, if you are not super familiar with the flavors of this, and you're looking for something a little more sweet, a little more fun, a little bit more, not so fancy pants, okay, you might want to try something else first. But this one here, really nice, tasty, has a real nice peppery vibe that I didn't mention before in the finish. That's always, it's not also something interesting with tequila. The second drink can sometimes bring something a little more. So I'm going to take one more good one, hold it for a while, and give you my final notes on this one. Holding it longer amplifies the lime peel, lemon peel a little bit. Okay, again, it's all in the process. Then holding it longer, also when it moves to the finish, and now I'm talking again, I'm getting lots of notes of like peppery quality, really nice, just sweet enough. Okay, some people say that about me. Really nice stuff. Check this out. I just wholeheartedly recommend this if you were really looking for the really cool, affordable agave experience from a company that is doing it right, a distillery that's doing it right. Cascahuin Blanco, $40. I mean, it's going to be the best $40 you can spend on tequila right now. Yeah, additive free. Yeah, it's a really weird thing as I started checking into this. So this like I said, this company, or this entity, Tequila Matchmaker, was just putting out a lot of information and testing stuff. Then they tried to make their own. I don't know. I didn't want to get too into it. Essentially, the regulatory board for Mexico put a kibosh on it. Again, they're looking out for their, one of their biggest exports in terms. I mean, I know Mexico does a lot more than just tequila, but one of their, let's say, one of their what they're known for in terms of that's their flagship spirit, right? Tequila, mezcal. So the regulations, they might be letting some stuff slide a little bit. That's also a whole thing with, is a conglomerate going to come in and buy this company? Well, we're not, blah blah blah. So they kind of stepped in and did that. I'm not really educated at all that. All that I know is it was just nice to know to kind of look and see, is this one's additive free. This is reported to be additive free. You can still do that again if you put the tequila that you're looking at, scores as tequila additive free. Put it in Google. The AI is probably going to come back with the result telling you what Tequila Matchmaker told you a little while back. It's a lot of fun. I don't have a lot of known for additive rich tequilas. I really like that flavor. Again, that's the only place I show any restraint is in my spirits drinking. Spirits drinking, attorneys general. I don't know. Anyway, that's the only place I really show that, where I just like to have those pure flavors, and when something gets too sweet, it might also represent kind of the candies I like. The candies that have that just are pure sugar. Some people love them. I'm not a big fan. It might be because of my hockey teeth, but I'm not a big fan of like just hard candies that just kind of melt. That's sometimes with the flavor that I get when I get some really high flavor tequilas. Again, some of the ones that I've had that are additive, pick and choose. A lot of the celebrity ones just are just gross. Yeah, there you go. I want anyone to, is it Dos Hombres? Anyway, you can see my little laptop stickers. I've added this one down here, okay? I am the danger. But I want to know if any of you have tried either, it's Dos Hombres, right? Brian Cranston and, Oh, help me out. Anyone here? The actor Aaron Paul. They put out. It's interesting. They put out a mezcal a few years ago. Okay, uh, and it got really bad. It did not get very good reviews. I almost bought it once, and I was like, yeah, I'll wait for it's on sale, and it never came on sale. And then it was kind of expensive too. And then more recently, just in more recent, yeah, recently, okay, uh, they released tequila, but you're supposed to be a little cheaper, I think. I might be off on that. Anyway, and it gets better reviews than the mezcal, honestly. We'll see. Mezcal is more of the Michelle fan. Also, Michelle's more than mezcal fan. I like everything both equally, but she started drinking mezcal before I ever had it and enjoyed it. We almost bought that. Anyway, if you've tried that ever or bought a bottle or anything like that, let us know what you thought of that. And moreover, like I said, everyone has probably had some tequila for something. If you have a tequila on your shelf that you were just using to make some drinks, give it a neat sip and let us know what's going on. All right, I'd love to hear from you all on that. All right, today Cascahuin Blanco, 40 ABV, $40, can't go wrong. Really nice. Would not. One more thing. The sweet stuff. Also, it's kind of like Scotch whiskey for me. Like if I'm going to be making a super sweet cocktail, I don't know that I want a tequila that also has a bunch of sweet vibes to it. Kind of gets over the top. So this one definitely doesn't have that. So if you are going to make something interesting and now if the other ingredients of your cocktail are really really sweet, this might be the perfect choice. This tequila, Cascahuin Blanco, man, it's just so good. I could drink it all night. I'm not going to. I only needed one drink. I'm gonna have one more little drop. Yep. There you go. That's it. While I'm having this last little drop, these glasses are really essential to me. Sometimes I do actually just try it in a Scotch whiskey glass, but our two favorite glasses are these, which you can buy. I don't even know what they're called, but you can buy in a set. They are still flared. They do nose pretty good. The reason why we like the glasses to kind of come this way for nosing is for obvious reasons. But we really like this one. This was really nice too, obviously, because it's clear. Get color on that. But if you're partying and you want something a little more robust, we really like these. I think we got these as a gift and we bought some more. These are really nice. The only problem with these is they look really robust. And if you drop them this way, it'll last all the time. If it falls over and knocks on something, this kind of rib thing, it'll crack right off the top. And you would think that this thing would crack and just crack in half. No, it's kind of a 100-piecer. It's like a 1,000-piece puzzle when it cracks. Unfortunately, I've broken a couple of them. Not while drinking. Usually I leave them out like an idiot because I'm like, I want to smell the glass later. And then I come back and I'm like, what does this smell like? Cup home. Anyway, Cascahuin Blanco. Next one we're going to do, I'm going to talk about a mezcal, and we'll talk about a little bit about that. We have some that we like a whole lot, and we'll talk about that. We'll get a little smoky next time, okay? To kind of embrace the return of the Canadian wildfires, get a little smoky. All right, have fun. Get some tequila. Maybe not any Fireball.